ये है रोशनी का कारवां।
This podcast is brought to you by Score Foundation.
ये है रोशनी, रोशनी, रोशनी का कारवां, रोशनी। Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां।
Hi, Namaskar. My name is George Abraham and welcome to this edition of Eyeway Conversations. My guest today is Siddharth Mahajan from Bangalore. He's a student, he's an academician, an aspiring professor. Welcome, Siddharth.
Hi, sir. Thank you.
So, Siddharth, you are from Vijayapura.
Yes, sir. I'm from Vijayapura.
Vijayapura, northern Karnataka, a smallish district. The expectations of support systems and ecosystem that is favorable to a blind child growing up, is low. What was your personal experience of growing up as a blind kid in Vijayapura?
Initially, it was difficult. My brother, who is Dr. Akshay, even he also has the same disability as me, and he's elder than me around 7 to 8 years. So somewhere in my family, they were aware of the conditions. They were aware how to deal with someone with a disability. So I would say that I didn't face that much of challenges that as my brother went through, because when he born, our parents were completely clueless how to basically they didn't knew what is the education facilities available, or being visually impaired, how he can be able to manage, and how the life will be handled.
Normally, when a child is different in a school, there is a lot of teasing and bullying.
Yes.
Do you have any memories of that?
Yes, sir. When I was in my fifth, sixth, I could able to remember those things. Like people used to come and just hit me on my head, and they used to run away, and it used to create me very disappointment. Like initially, I was so kind of. My mom used to tell me, "You're very innocent, like very." I could able to start crying for very small things if just someone raises a voice against me. But as the days passed on, I started feeling these things, and something started making me stronger. Those bullyings, like people used to just tell something behind me, or like they come and just push and go. It used to make me very disappointed, and I used to complain to the management, to the school management. Even my parents used to come. The things used to go. They used to, warn the kid who did that, and it used to go on. But as days passed on, I started rebelling, because, you know, everyone has their own limits, or, you be quiet for once or twice or thrice. But when the same thing starts happening, you don't have any option, but you need to start, fighting back.
You probably were the only blind child in the classroom. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, was the teacher consciously making an effort to include you, or you just had to manage?
I remember one of the teacher, he was just teaching something on a board, and I was just sitting myself, I was just listening to the class, but I don't know what made him to say that. He just like, "Hey, listen, stand up. You were singing song in class." So like, no, I'm not singing. He just blamed me, saying that you are singing song. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take such blames, because I'm not doing anything. Ask the people who's sitting beside me. So when I started arguing, he immediately thrown a textbook which he was holding on his hand just directly on my face, and that actually made me disappointed. And fortunately, there were CC cameras, and the founder, I'd like to remember him today, is Dr. Arvind Patil. He's a doctor. He's a surgeon by profession. He's a really good person. He actually saw it through a CC camera, and next day, the teacher who behaved in such, who had that attitude, he was directly suspended from the school. I believe that such people you need to have in your life. It might be in academics, or it might be as a career in your workplace, even in family, sir, because someone with disability, people will be going through various difficulties, various emotional tolls. People will having be breakdowns. So there should be someone that, listen, you are not alone in this journey, or like if you have any difficulties, we are there to support you and encourage you.
What this example that you just quoted, I think it's very true, because even if there are 100 people, if the 98 people are not good to you, if one or two people are good, that
Hmm,
makes all the difference.
exactly. And he used to give me more exposure, saying that because I never, he like there were competition used to be happening, for example, sports competition or a cooking competition or something like a science experiment exhibitions. It's like we need to come up with our own idea, our own protocols, prototypes, and we need to bring up some experiments and present it to the audience. So in those things, I was not left alone when I used to go him, sir. There's a cooking competition coming, but what I can do? He used to tell me one word, and I carry that one word till. He used to tell me that, Siddharth, sky is the only limit for you. Don't limit yourselves just because of your disability or something. Cooking, join some groups. Try to assist them whatever you can. You don't need to be sitting in front of the oven or the gas to cook. Like, try to involve, try to learn things. And I remember that I could prepare khichdi. It's like a dal khichdi, and I could able to get a first prize in my 7th grade with my teams.
You mentioned that you'd given some examples of students teasing you, bullying you in your early
Hmm.
days in school.
Hmm.
Over the years, how did the relationship with your classmates and peers support you, or were they helpful? Were they friendly? Were they inclusive?
Both, sir. There were people who were extremely caring, extremely helpful. There are people, some of them, one or two people, there used to be like, obviously everywhere you might find those level of people. You can't say, if you're in a corporate setting, you can't say everyone from the managers to the cleaning staffs, everyone are helpful for you. So it's the same way. But I believe that both the experience should be there. There should be people who actually appreciates you, and there should be people who actually don't like you, because that's how you can learn.
If you know of anyone with vision impairment who needs guidance in living life with blindness, please share the Eyeway National Helpline number 8800004334. The number is 8800004334.
You have developed an interest in academics. You have also developed an interest in language,
Hmm.
particularly English.
Hmm.
Uh, how did that happen?
Because in Bangalore, when I was doing my schooling, first and second, I was more drawn towards English language and English spoken thing. So even though in my school, it was an English medium school in Vijayapura, my English was somewhere praised, and I used to, it's like a very developed or very like somewhere a grade higher than others. So, and I used to get many feedback saying like, you are good to be an English teacher, I feel. So that I get, it was just a common comment I got, and I took it seriously for no reason. I don't know why that resonated so much. And people used to call me like, okay, he's very good at, he speaks very good English. And I was quite good with grammar. And if there was any English exams or English elocution essay, I used to take a lead and start talking about it. I believe that academia is my core. I like to teach people, and at least the problems which I faced, because students were not aware of disability, because no any teacher would have been taught. Like today's schools and colleges are teaching that as an element somewhere, inclusivity, diversity. Those are all buzzwords today. But back in that time, there were no people, because they used to know not able to see anyone with special needs. So as an educator, I feel that I can able to shape the society, and I can able to set an example saying that, okay, something we can do, and you should, how can we be inclusive? So somewhere I developed English as my career or to take up literature. So from the school days, so.
You've chosen to specialize in English. You graduated in English, and now you're doing a post graduation in English and communications.
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to ask you,
Hmm.
you know, when a person learns a language,
Hmm.
critical is the role of spellings, grammar,
Hmm.
and so on. And they very
Hmm.
often say
Hmm.
people who study in the mainstream
Hmm.
normally don't learn Braille. And this
Hmm.
becomes a disadvantage when it comes to learning spellings and sentence formations and understanding grammar in the right way.
Hmm.
What is your take on?
Like when I was in Bangalore for 2 years, there used to be one teacher used to come from a special school, and he used to come and teach me Braille. But when I entered third standard, I got a Windows XP. That was a old computer. I still remember I was using JAWS 2009 version. So today we are in JAWS 2025. So when I got computer access, I started exploring, and I started typing things. So there were no requirement of Braille because people used to help me. So when my peers or classmates used to take down notes, they used to keep the carbon paper below their books, and they used to write in the book. And my mom hired some of the teachers who used to come to school, to home after my school, and they used to come and teach me like whatever is there on the, maybe the homework what is given, or the syllabus what is there. So they used to come from like maybe from 6 to 8 in the evening, and make sure that I am thorough with the concepts, the ideas, or whatever is going in the class. And I used to have volunteers from Bangalore, because my brother had a network and various special the institutions and all. From there we got connected to some of the volunteers, and they used to engage with me on Skype, maybe from something like 4 to 5 or something. They used to teach, because we used to send them books, the textbooks. For example, if it's a science, social, and these books we used to courier them to Bangalore. So every day they used to teach me chapters.
You chose to do English literature for your graduation and English literature plus communication in your post graduation, and your aspiration is to become a professor. So,
Yes, sir.
what has your journey been through Christ University, where you studied both your graduation and post graduation?
I again came back to Bangalore, and I admitted somewhere called as Christu Jayanti College. It's an autonomous college where I was the first person as a visually impaired to enter there, and that opened me so many gateways. And when I was taking admission, we made sure that what our requirements are fulfilled. Like we clearly communicated that, so these are the challenges. I will be needing the soft copy materials. I will be needing the computerized examinations. So when you are clear with your approaches, I feel that the education institutions will be more favorable, because you will get to know though if they say yes, okay, they are ready to accommodate you, or if they say no, then better to look with other institutions. So somewhere that clarity gave, and the clarity helped me to sustain there for 3 years. And I asked them to purchase JAWS. Just for me, they purchased a JAWS license for their computer labs. On the exam day, I used to go and sit. For example, if the exam is starting by 9:30 a.m., I used to be in lab by 9 a.m. By 9:15, I used to get a question paper from the examination office to my email, and the 9:20, the invigilator is to enter the hall. Like I was the only one used to be there in that hall. Just for me, they used to send a one supervisor or invigilator, and they used to just sit beside me looking to the screen from 9:30, almost like uh, 3.5 hours. I used to get all extra timing used to be given, but I never took much because I could able to type in a bit quick, and I just need to just save the file there. So the lab the technician used to take care of it, and they will send it to the exam office back, and they take the printouts, and they will be circulating the answer sheets, those answer sheets, to the faculty for the evaluation.
So, as part of your master's, you've done an interesting internship with the Hindu.
In my PG, I need to go for a 3 months of internship, and I had very limited options that either I need to work in a media stream or somewhere as a content writer or content analyst or something related to search engine optimization or a PR. I mean, these were the only options for me, either corporate or media.
So you got your assignment with Hindu. So what was your assignment at Hindu?
No, sir, actually, the first assignment I worked with, it was a portable water ban in Bangalore. It's like where BWSSB, that's the water, the government. It actually put a circular saying that portable water should not be used in the car wash centers or the cinema halls. The river water or the proper water should be used instead of the portable water for the construction and all.
Yeah.
So that was the first day of my assignment, where I need to call the various stakeholders like the apartments owners or the apartment association members, the cinema hall people, and I need to call them and ask them what are their how are they using their water and make them to understand that the potable water is not to be used, and basically need to talk to them and discuss regarding this and come up with a story.
You've done an internship with an international university from Amsterdam.
Of course,
What
yeah.
what was that course about?
It was a media-related skills, like the ethical laws and media and ethical how because I was working in a media, so it was a requirement for me to take up in one MOOC course. So I took a course from University of Amsterdam through the Coursera. So I could able to understand how the media works, what are the legality, how the legal side of media works. So that was one of the course which I could able to get exposure to. So,
To support our work with the blind and visually impaired, you can visit the donate page on our website www.scorefoundation.org.in. Please note www.scorefoundation.org.in.
And are there other courses that you were kind of required to take up as part of your education?
the other courses were from it's my interest. I'm a researcher, and I wanted to enhance my scholarly pursuit. So I took up courses from uh, related to academic writing, research publishing, and I have also published few of the research articles and papers in various peer-reviewed journals. So those were the things, sir.
Would you like to briefly tell us what were these journals that you published your articles in, and what were these articles about?
Sure. Actually, I worked when I was in my UG. I worked on a translation. It's a folktale translation. It's called Kerege Hara, which is like a surrendering to a river. So it's a folktale translation, and I translated a Kannada folktale to English. So I could able to publish it is in a journal called as News India. It's
Yeah.
a peer-reviewed journal,
Yeah.
so which talks about the Indian culture, Indian literature.
Yeah.
So it's about that, and I also worked with something like a Greek theater, understanding Greek theater, and I could able to publish one of the paper on that.
You've also done some very interesting work on the influence of Western and modern music on Kannada film music.
Yes, yes, sir.
So I also understand that you have a personal interest in music.
Personally, I am also a musician. I would say I never learned any classical music or any. I didn't went through any formal training. Maybe I went for just for a 5 to 6 months as a Hindustani uh, music, where one of my neighbor, she used to come to my home and teach. But after a while, even I couldn't able to continue it. But on the basis of that, I self-taught. I'm a self-taught musician. I play piano and I do sing a bit, but not extensively. I don't call myself as a singer, but I work more with the arrangement, composing tracks. It's like using technology. It's like DAW, that's digital audio workstations.
If one were to kind of listen to your music, where would that be?
It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music everywhere. If you search something called as my first track is out on April 19th, 2025. It's called Gamana. Gamana is a Kannada track which I worked with one of my friend, and that's my debut production, where I have composed and arranged a bit part of the track, and yeah, that's my official album track. So.
And do you have any plans in the area of music going forward, or is it only a passion?
Um, Actually, to be, I like to keep it as a passion because one of the thing my parents actually don't like me get into music because, and even I don't want to take it as a profession because there is something associated with like when people come across people with disability, people with vision impairment, I was like, okay, they will get into music. I mean, I'm not discouraging that, but I like to understand that or make sure that there is also life apart from that as well. So that doesn't make that if you're born with vision impairment, you need to be a musician or you need to be something with art or something. You can be a CEO of company, you can be anything and everything. You can be engineer, you can be like the opportunities are endless. So that stereotypical mindset actually somewhere my parents like, okay, why you want this and focus on your academics and career. That's like, okay, I'll just make this as a passion and they're okay. So
You're committed to your career in academics, and you mentioned research. Uh,
yes.
so, how did you actually, or what draws you to research? Meaning, what was the sparkle that actually lit your interest in research?
I I was a very curious person. Like I like to be always curious. I like to explore something. Our career is in one path. That doesn't make that you should not be knowing the other ways because today we are in 21st century and everything is uh, multidisciplinary and you should know every aspects.
But how did you get into academic research? Meaning, curiosity is one thing. Is it only
Hmm.
curiosity that drove you into academic research in
Mm,
literature, or was it the demand of the course? What was it?
Demand of the course, and I was actually speaking with one of my dissertation guide 2 days back. So he's like, I was telling him that, sir, I want to get it published in one of the Q1, Q2 international journals by end of this masters. He's like, why are you so desperate? Sir, because of one is my interest, and second is I need to prove some people. In fact, what I mean by proving, sir, when you get into job market, you if you're into corporate, if you're into education, they won't easily accept if you are visually impaired. So I believe that you should be fulfilling their requirements. It's like if they ask you, if, for example, if you're an academic, if you're applying for a teaching job, they'll see your disability. They'll ask you, are you qualified UGC NET? NET is a national eligibility test. It determines your eligibility for assistant professor. Yes, I have qualified. You have published articles? Yes, I published. So if I'm clear from all the aspects, at least that will give an idea that, okay, he's not what we think, or though he's a visually impaired, he has certain qualities or something, we can pick it up.
All right, Siddharth, it was wonderful talking to you. There are a lot of very interesting takeaways from this conversation.
Yes,
And
sir.
as you pursue your passion for academics and teaching, hope you fulfill that dream.
Eyeway, ये है रोशनी का कारवां.
This podcast was brought to you by Score Foundation.